I'm afraid that was not a great success.
Some shocked to see Sophie. Boy, was she tight.
If not worse.
That's funny. I got the same impression. Do you remember her at all?
Very well. I liked her. I remember her husband.
You never saw two people so crazy about each other. They got to be a regular joke around Chicago.
But what happened?
Didn't you know? Bob and the baby were killed.
A car hit them.
So that's what it is.
She nearly went crazy.
We did all we could to help her, but it was no good. If you asked her to dinner, she'd come in plastered and pass out before the evening was over. Last, we simply had to drop her.
She became impossible.
Of course, it was a shock, and I was terribly sorry for her. But a normal person recovers. If she went to pieces, it was because she was always unbalanced. Even her love for Bob was exaggerated. Aren't I right, Larry?
No, I don't agree with you, Isabel. She was as normal as any person I've ever known. Well, remember, I knew her better than you did.
Was she in love with you?
Good heavens, no. She was only a kid. Just a skinny little girl with a bow in her hair. I remember her crying once when I was reading an ode of Keats. Because it was so beautiful.
Girls of that age are very emotional.
Oh, there was a lot to her in those days. She had what Keats probably would have called a sort of lovely purity. Chauffeur, would you stop at the next corner? I want to get out, please.
Hey, Larry, you're not going to run out of sight.
Well, my hotel's only a step from here. Oh. Good night.
Larry, will we see you?
Of course.
We're going to Vitel on Thursday with Uncle Elliot. He wants to take the cure. We'll be back by the 1st of the month. I'll call you.
Fine. Well, good night. Good night, Gray.
Good night, Larry.
Good night, Larry. And thanks for the dinner.
Alors? Oh, excusez-moi, mademoiselle, je ne savais pas que c'était vous. Non, monsieur Darren n'est pas encore rentré. Non. Un message pour lui? Oh, attendez, mademoiselle. Il arrive maintenant. Attendez. Monsieur Darren. Téléphone. Oh, merci.
Hello?
Larry. At last. I've been trying to reach you for hours. Aren't you ever in?
Hardly ever. When did you get back?
This morning. Uncle Elliot insisted on being here in time for Elsa's soiree tonight. Poor dear, he's not at all well. But he will go to all these parties.
How's Gray getting along?
Oh, Larry, you've simply done wonders for him. He started to play golf again. He blames it all on you. And what have you been doing?
Oh, one thing and another. I've seen a lot of Sophie.
Really? Why?
Well, after all, she's an old friend.
If you want my opinion, I think you're wasting your time.
She stopped drinking.
Oh, Larry, you're the most gullible person I've ever known. She'll never stop drinking. Sophie wallows in the gutter because she likes it. A blind person could see that.
Well, just the same, I do wish you'd be nice to her, Isabel. We're going to be married.
What? Married?
Yes, that's right. It's all settled.
You're not serious. You can't be.
But I am. Well, aren't you going to congratulate me?
I am not. I think you're... What's kept you? You've been hours.
I came the instant I got your call. What's happened?
It's about Larry and Sophie. The idiot. The stupid, blind idiot. He must be mad.
If you'd calm down for a moment, I might be able to make head or tail of what you're trying to say.
He's going to marry her.
Oh. How do you know?
How should I know? He just called me on the phone. Oh, I'm frantic.
So I see.
He even had the effrontery to ask me to be nice to her.
Well, it's his own affair, isn't it?
She's an awful woman. She's bad, bad, bad. She's soused from morning till night.
That doesn't necessarily mean she's bad. Quite a number of respectable citizens get drunk and do silly things. They're bad habits like biting one's nails, but I don't know if they're worse than that. I call a person bad who lies and cheats and is unkind.
If you're going to take her part, I'll kill you.
I'd prefer it if you gave me a cup of tea.
Oh, help yourself. He's seen a lot of her since we were at that dive that night. He says she's quit drinking. The fool thinks he's cured her.
Have you forgotten what you did for Gray?
That had nothing to do with it. Thanks. Gray wanted to be cured. She doesn't.
How do you know?
Because I know women. Do you think she'll stick to Larry? Of course not. Sooner or later she'll break out. It's in her blood. It's a brute she wants. That's what excites her. And it's a brute she'll go after. She'll lead Larry to hell.
It's very probable, but I don't see what you can do about it.
I can do nothing about it. But you can.
I?
Larry likes you, and he listens to what you say. You know the world. Go to him and tell him he can't make such a fool of himself. Tell him it'll ruin him.
He'd only tell me it's none of my business, and he'd be quite right. It may not turn out so badly as you think.
Oh, you make me tired. She's rotten to the core. Do you think I've sacrificed myself only to let Larry fall into the hands of a woman like that?
How did you sacrifice yourself?
I gave up Larry for one reason only. Because I didn't want to stand in his way.
Oh, come off it, Isabel. You gave him up for a square-cut diamond and a sable coat.
Oh!
Oh. You know, your Uncle Elliot wouldn't have thanked you if you'd broken one of his Crown Derby plates. They were made for the Duchess of Dorset, and they're priceless.
Pick up that bread and butter.
Pick it up yourself.
And you call yourself an English gentleman.
No, that's one thing I've never done.
Oh, get out of here. I never want to see you again. I hate the sight of you.
I'm sorry for that, because the sight of you always gives me pleasure. Have you ever been told that your nose is exactly like that of the Psyche in the Museum of Naples? And that's the loveliest representation of virginal beauty that ever existed. You've got exquisite legs, so long and shapely. I can't cease to be surprised at them because they were thick and lumpy when I first saw you. I can't imagine how you've managed it.
An iron will.
But of course, your most fascinating feature are your hands. They're so slim and elegant.
I was under the impression you thought them too big.
Not for your height and build. I'm always amazed at the infinite grace with which you use them. Huh? Whether by nature or by art, you never make a gesture without imparting beauty to it. They're like flowers sometimes, and sometimes like birds on the wing.
There are moments when I don't positively dislike you. In fact, sometimes I think you're rather sweet.
I will not have my face smeared with lipstick. If you want to kiss me on the lips, which is what a merciful providence provided them for. Thank you. Now, what's it you want?
Advice.
There's only one thing you can do. Make the best of a bad job. Larry's in the grip of the most powerful emotion that can beset the breast of man. Self-sacrifice. He's got to save the soul of the wretched woman whom he had known as an innocent child. And there's nothing you or I or anyone can do to prevent it.
But he's going to be so unhappy.
You love him very much?
It is a nuisance, isn't it? But I can't help it.
And you don't want to lose him altogether? Then make friends with Sophie. Be as nice to her as you can.
Ask her to lunch. Would be rather awkward for me after what I've just said to Larry.
Will you behave if I do?
Like an angel of light.
I'll fix it up. 1 o'clock tomorrow at the Ritz. What are you thinking? I don't quite like the look of you.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the one thing about me you did like.
You haven't got some scheme you've been hatching up?
Oh, I promise you I haven't. As a matter of fact, I'm terribly curious to see what she looks like, now that Larry's reformed her.